Hello, I hope that you are all well. It feels like a really long time since I've seen you, and I know that lots of you will have grown and some of you will even have new haircuts. I'm really pleased to introduce you to this lovely new book called The Book of Hopes. It's a book of words and pictures to comfort, inspire and entertain children while we're in lockdown. Lots of famous authors and illustrators have contributed stories and poems to it. It's dedicated to doctors and nurses, carers, porters, cleaners and everyone who's working in a hospital. It's only available to read online, and some of the staff have chosen their favourite stories and poems to read to you. I hope you do enjoy them. There will be new ones sent to you each Tuesday and Thursday in the coming weeks. Enjoy. Our first reading will be Hope, written by Anthony Horowitz, read by Miss Baker.
Hope by Anthony Horowitz. The town of Hope near Aberdeen is somewhere I have seldom been, but then it's not a tourist trap. It isn't even on the map. There's certainly not much to see. They've closed the local library because they said there is no need when no one in the town can read. They've got a pub and a hotel, but neither of them's doing well. The hotel isn't quite the Ritz. The beds have fleas, the staff have nits. The only pub, the Rose and Crown, is easily the worst in town. The one theatre has sadly gone. It burned down while a play was on. The critics thought the play so dire that all of them preferred the fire. The cinema, well, that's second rate. The films are always out of date. The last James Bond film that I saw had Bond, still played by Roger Moore. The pavements are never clean because the council's far too mean to pay for cleaners, and the park, that's only open after dark. The grass is lumpy, full of weeds, and dogs can only walk on leads. There is a children's playground, but when school is finished, it is shut. The chief of police is 82. He can't catch crooks. He can't catch the flu. The vicar surely won't be missed, since he's become an atheist. The mayor sold his golden chain and then was never seen again. The local paper isn't bought because there's nothing to report. The school is like a concrete bunker. Matron's drunk and the head is drunker. Now, living here must really stink. At least that is what you all might think. But that is simply not the case. There is no more delightful place. Everyone is best of friends, and all the residents agree there's nowhere else they'd rather be. So if you're feeling uninspired, sleeping badly, walking tired, if everything is going wrong, the day feels dark, the night's too long, remember all the people who have found the following is true. It's so much easier to cope if you decide to live in hope.
Up next is Mrs Wright, who will be reading The Store of Magical Things by Rotendo Tavengawe.
The Store Full of Magical Things. I met an old man once in a store full of magical things, whistling while he watched me. His crooked hat on his head. "What are you buying, little miss?" he asked in his cheerful voice. "There is a clock that can send you anywhere in the world, an elephant that can fly, a bar of chocolate that you can never finish, or a smile that can never fade. So much to choose from in a store full of magical things. But once I looked at it, I knew what I would take home with me. What I take with me everywhere. What I am sending to you now. A smile that can never fade. A smile that can never fade."
Our last reading is Michael Morpurgo's A Song of Gladness, read by Mrs O'Dean.
Good morning, everybody. This story is called A Song of Gladness by Michael Morpurgo. I've been talking every morning to Blackbird, telling him why we are all so sad at the moment. He sits on his branch and listens. It was Blackbird's idea. He sang out this morning at dawn from his treetop in the garden to Fox, half asleep behind the garden shed. She thought it was a good idea too. It was a wake-up call. Fox was on her feet at once and trotting through Bluebell Wood, where she barked it to deer who ran off across the stream. Kingfisher was there, otter and dipper too. They heard and piped it on, and Swallow swooped down over the meadow and passed it on to cows waiting to go into their milking, and to sheep resting under her hedge quietly with her lambs in the corner of the dew-damp field. And they all agreed, bleating it out to bees already busy at their flowers, to weaving spiders and grasshoppers and scurrying mice. Trees heard sheep, calling too, the whole flock of them, and waved their budding leaves in wild enthusiasm. And high above, the clouds wandered through the skies driven by wind, and wind took Blackbird's idea over the cliffs across heaving seas where gulls and albatross cried it out, and whales and dolphins and porpoises heard it, and wailed and whooped it down into the deep where turtles listened, and they loved the idea too. So did plankton and every fish and crab and sea urchin and whelk. They all whispered that it was a fine notion, the best they'd ever heard. And the whisper went over the sea on the curling waves to the shores of Africa, where lions roared their approval and elephants trumpeted it. Leopards yawned it, water buffalo belched it, and wild dogs yelped it. Wildebeest murmured it across the savannah, and storm lifted it up over the rainforest, where rain took it and poured it down on gorillas in the mist, on chimpanzees in their sleeping nests. Howler monkeys and gibbons echoed their calls loud over all the earth. They are that loud. And then from far up high, sun heard it too, and shone it down over deserts where oryx stamped their feet, impatient to be getting on with it and doing it. She loved the idea that much. Even Camel, who rarely joined in anything, thought this was the best and most beautiful idea that she had ever heard. Back in the garden, Blackbird waited till everyone was ready, and then he began to sing. And the whole carnival of animals, every living thing on this good earth joined in, until the globe enjoyed and echoed with the joy of it. And Blackbird was very pleased. But I was still lost in sadness. As I heard the earth singing around me, it was a song of forgiveness. I knew that, so I asked Blackbird if I could join in, and he sang his answer back to me. Why do you think we are doing this, you silly man? We want you and yours to be happy again. Only then will you treat us and the world right again, as you know, the way that you should. Only then will all be well. Sing, silly man, sing, sing. Our song is your song is our song. So I sang, we all sang, and sang away our sadness. In every house, every flat and every cottage, we clapped and sang, in every hut and tent, in every palace and hospital and prison. And they heard, and we heard our song of gladness echoing all together in glorious harmony across the universe. The end.